morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a great day, everybody. Hello, Columbia County. Hello, Evans. Hello, Augusta. Hello, North Augusta. And hello, the world. My name is Alex Cooper, and welcome to our class for the day. Let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Alex Cooper. I teach computer classes for the Columbia County Library in Evans, the Harlan Library, and the Uchi Creek, now Grovetown Library, since we have a nice, big, beautiful building. Today we're doing a class for the Harlan Library Internet Safety and Security class, so very glad that you're here with me today. Feel free to post a hello into the chat there and introduce yourself a little bit. Do realize that, of course, we're being home and staying safe, so there's no on-ground classes at the library, no programs at the library. We just kind of staying home, staying safe, so we're doing all our classes virtually and everything, virtual story times and stuff like that. So very glad that you're here this morning. Let's go ahead and ask the big question, how can I help? Okay. Feel free to post questions into the chat as well. Do realize there's a little bit of delay between posting there and then me seeing it. So if I'll say something like any questions, I'll pause for a little bit. But definitely feel free to post any kind of questions or chat in there. Do realize we are now on YouTube instead of Facebook. So you do have to be logged into YouTube to like, to post to the chat, and to subscribe to our library YouTube channel, GCHRL videos. Okay, so yesterday we did internet safety and security, which is the same class today, but we did it yesterday afternoon live, and we're of course doing it this morning live again. These videos will be available later for viewing, so feel free to share them with friends or family members so they could get information that you're interested in them knowing about. This afternoon we're going to be doing a fun class, which is a video creating basics class. It's a lot of fun. We'll work on a few projects. It's great for someone that's interested in doing some slideshows with some photos, of course edit some videos, talking about splitting videos, creating title cards, 3D models, adding some fun stuff to our videos here, and also some special effects like making it snow, fireworks, stuff like that, and also adding music too. We'll be using the Microsoft Windows Photos app that comes free with Windows, and I can send you in the right direction for some free ones as well, video editors as well. Tomorrow, our last class of the month, we're going to be doing the morning and afternoon session of Gadget Help. So I'll be live in the morning at 11 o'clock and 2:30 here on our YouTube channel. So definitely feel free to stop by. Any kind of tech questions you have, of course, let me know. Happy to help in any way. We're not doing any of our on-ground stuff, so I can't do a live Gadget Help at the library right now because we're all at home staying safe. No programs at the library. But of course, we can do it here virtually as well. Okay, so please let friends or family know. Here's kind of our schedule for the full month. All these videos are still available and up at our library YouTube channel, so definitely feel free to share those. Again, it kind of is best if you come to our live classes because then you can ask questions. Okay. Just a little side note, our libraries are open with limited services and hours. Curbside Holds Pickup is available. It's a great program. Make sure you thank your librarians for doing that. And of course, when they bring the books out and stuff, tell them thank you. You can go to gchrl.org for more details. And you can call in the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please don't forget to like our Facebook pages so you'll be up to date on information. Our hours have just changed as of as of today. Our hours have changed, so definitely check the Facebook and gchrl.org for that. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos, like my videos, please. Right now we're on the YouTube channel, but if you're searching for our YouTube channel, just go to YouTube and search for GCHRL videos. Okay. Okay, so today we're covering our internet safety and security. So I'm going to say welcome to everybody. Welcome, welcome. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post. Give me 1 second. Kind of while everybody's kind of coming to the classroom and everything. Hello, Jane. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Now, here's the handout so you can view it and download it as well. And I, of course, let me open that. So this is an interesting one. This is kind of a collaboration of a few of the other classes going on, because I'll have ones, we'll cover some of these topics in the couponing class. We'll also cover some of these topics, of course, in our beginner internet class. And then I'd have questions and folks saying, hey, how can I do this? And they'd also ask, hey, what exactly is a VPN and how can I use a VPN, or what does that do? Okay, so that kind of came into this. So someone's saying, hey, do you have an internet security class and can you go beyond what you talk about in the other classes? And I go, yeah, we can do that perfectly fine. Now, I did have, since we did this class yesterday afternoon live, of course now we're doing it this morning live, I did have someone post and I replied to her. I'm not sure she'll be able to join us, but hopefully she'll see it in the replay. Ms. Barbara, how are you? Definitely we're going to answer the question. Had a big question of, we're going to talk about Wi-Fi security. Yes, we definitely are going to talk about Wi-Fi security and what HTTPS is, and basically keeping yourself online. And if you wanted to go beyond that, we'll talk about what a VPN is. Is a VPN made for everybody? No, but it kind of encrypts your internet traffic is the best way to describe that, I believe. So we're going to cover a bunch of topics this morning. We'll finish up about 1 o'clock or so. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Like I said, feel free to kind of post any questions in here. I'll try to pause for questions, but do realize there's a little bit of the delay in the questions and my answers too. All right, so we're covering internet security this morning. So let's talk about what we're going to cover this morning, our overview of everything. We're going to talk about safe online connection, okay? Especially when we're going to buy something, make a purchase online. We'll talk about knowing your online rights, okay? A little side note too, I actually have 2 screens, the main screen, and then this one on the right side, which is kind of interesting because when I read from that, it looks kind of like I'm looking at the screen like that, but I'm actually just looking on the right side. But that's the screen that you guys see. Okay. Know your rights. We're going to talk about a bunch of different scams, ways of finding out if something is a scam. That's a big one. I saw someone, a friend of mine, post something on Facebook about, hey, I got an email saying blah blah blah. Do y'all think this is a scam? And that's a great thing too as well. If you do have questions, ask some friends, family members, saying, hey, do you think this is some kind of scam? And we'll talk about the main ways that you know that it's a scam. Hint, hint. Follow the money. Does it want money? Is money involved in there somewhere? Then yes. Okay. So we'll talk about email and texting safety. We'll talk about what exactly is a VPN and do you need one? Okay, so that's a big question I'll get asked. It is something that would be like an extra charge. So we'll talk about cyberbullying as well, another topic that we don't discuss in any other class. We'll go more into what malware is, viruses, adware, and spyware, okay, and how to stop malware, okay. We'll talk about password help and tips, and if you are someone that writes down your passwords, like in a Word document or something, or you just have a little notebook, probably best not to have that near your computer all the time. But if you do write it like in a little notebook or something, what are some ways that you can still keep yourself safe by doing that? Maybe add some extra letters or something that someone else looked at it, they wouldn't know that's not the real password or something. So we've got a lot of different password help in here and tips. I know that they're big long passwords, and also we'll talk about LastPass, one of the free password keepers, or password lockbox, someone might say. All right, so any questions before we get started? So I'll kind of pause a second here. I kind of like this picture. It makes everybody kind of happy. They're ready to get on the internet. They're like, yay! And why do they feel happy? Because they know they're safe. They're following certain rules. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get started. Let's talk about a safe online connection. All right. So if you're using any of our browsers, even some of the newer browsers there too, you want to make sure that you have a secure login. Mainly what we're going to talk about in just a second is if you go somewhere and you're logging in, let's say Amazon or something, and I'll actually pull up examples too, so it's not like I'm just reading the handout. I'll pull some of the websites up that the handout discusses as well. So you'll kind of get a feeling of that as well. I did say the same word twice, but there you go. And I think I'll disappear so you'll have a little bit better view. Okay, so let's talk about our little padlock, okay? So big one is to make sure that you're logged in. If it's something like your email, if you're going to make a purchase online, your bank, credit card, something important, you should make sure that you have the padlock on here, and you should see where it says HTTPS, okay? Before you make a purchase online, or when you're about to log into your site, about to put in the username and password, you always want to make sure you see the padlock. Now, if I about to go to a website, let's say Amazon.com or someplace. So here's Amazon.com. We look at the very top, we already see a little padlock on there. You'll notice that I'm not signed in any way. It's just like I just went to this website. And you'll still see the HTTPS and our padlock. If you do click the padlock, it will give you more information about the encryption, but we don't really need to know that, but just kind of realize that. So it means that it's encrypted between you and the web server, okay, or the web host, if you want to say that as well. Look for the address bar padlock. When entering any kind of credit card information, it means it's secure between you and, of course, the website. Now, what is HTTPS? Well, we don't really need to know this by heart. Just realize that the S means secure, okay? So normal websites we're going to says HTTP, and HTTPS just means it's encrypted. More and more websites are pushing this, so you might even just go to google.com or something and it already is secure. So now let's talk about our Wi-Fi protection. Okay. So this kind of goes into the question that we had on Facebook yesterday. Basically, will we cover Wi-Fi security? Yes, we will, and here we are. So one of the things we're worried about is if we go to, let's say, most McDonald's, most Starbucks have free Wi-Fi. Okay. And if we actually go to these, you know, like if it's a hotel or someplace, so let's see, all these folks here are using their Wi-Fi devices to connect to the Wi-Fi at the hotel. She's on her cell phone. This guy's on a cell phone. She's on her tablet, cell phone. Just kind of using their stuff. Just imagine one of them's using a laptop too. So they're all using these like little bubbles going up, connecting to the network, okay, the Wi-Fi network. But there's this one person over here that they're not using that. They're actually using like a catcher. So their computer, their device is actually catching some of the bubbles that are hooked on the same network. So how does that work? Well, if you're at home connected to your Wi-Fi, you're probably the only one using it, okay? So any kind of connection between you and the internet is secure. Now, if you do go to another Wi-Fi, even a public Wi-Fi, and you're networked together, that means that some of that information could be grabbed, because if it wasn't encrypted, by somebody else using a Wi-Fi sniffer, okay? So let's imagine this person here is using a laptop with a Wi-Fi sniffing software on there, and they can't grab that information if it's encrypted if the person's using HTTPS. So can this person grab information that is being used on a website for your email, passwords, your checking into, even a website like Facebook a while back would not do HTTPS all the time, believe it or not. And there's some other websites too. But let's say you just went to some place like Target or just kind of a general news site, and that was not encrypted anyway. Could that person possibly grab that information? Yes. But if you're on the same network, a Wi-Fi network, but if it was set up so where it was all HTTPS, no, but at least the person wouldn't get information if you were securely logged into your bank, credit card, or of course your email address or your social media as well, okay? So that's really not an issue that way, but still it's not a very comfortable situation. So how do we protect ourselves? We make sure we see the HTTPS, and we'll go more into this, making sure our browsers are up to date and stuff like that. So just realize when you're using a Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, it's maybe even best to not really do anything super important on there, kind of just in case as well, okay? But make sure your connection's HTTPS. All right, let's talk about making a purchase online. So when making a purchase online, like I said, some of this information kind of comes from some of our other classes as well. So we've kind of put it all in one class, and of course we're going to go further with some of our explanations and stuff as well. So before making a purchase online, the best thing to do is to really use a real credit card, not a debit card, okay? Why is that? Well, because you can dispute fraudulent charges a whole lot easier, and it's no out-of-pocket money to dispute coming out of your pocket using a debit card, okay? One thing you can do also is you can set your limit very low with online purchases. You can even contact your bank. There's even some commercials going around about how you can actually set up with an app on some of the credit cards, ask for a one-time use credit card number. Now, why am I discussing all these different ways? The ways I'm discussing all these different ways, because if someone still has a little bit of a issue with trying to buy something online, I want to kind of squelch the worry, squelch the worry, so that there's different ways that you can protect yourself, okay? One thing I have going on for myself is anytime I use my credit card, I get like a little pop-up on my phone that lets me know that there was a charge, lets know what the charge was. And about 2 years ago, I actually woke up on a Saturday and my phone was going crazy. It was going do-do-do-do-do, 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 within about a 5-minute period. Come to find out, someone has gotten my credit card number, was spinning it and using it in a different city completely. So I contacted the credit card company. They said, thank you for calling us. So They were very excited for me to tell them about it and everything, not wait till the end of the month. I said absolutely, and they canceled my credit card number and they sent me a new card. Okay, so that's one big safety thing you can do as well. Basically, have your credit card, pop up and give you an alert every time it's used. Another thing to do is if you don't want to use like I said, I don't recommend using a debit card. If you don't want to use, for a real credit card for online purchases, one of the things you can do is you can get you some gift cards. Well, how does the gift card work? Well, let's say I wanted to buy something from Walmart or Amazon or Kohl's. Do realize that these stores have online stores as well. So if I get a Walmart card, I can't only use it at Walmart, but I can use it to make a purchase from Walmart.com too. So you could go into a store, put down $20 at most Walmart, CVS's, Target's, Kroger's, Publix. They have that big kiosk that has all those gift cards. You could go in, put $20 down, get you an Amazon gift card, eBay gift card, something like that, and then go online and make a purchase that way, and it's not connected to you in any way. And of course, when the money runs out of the gift card, there's no money on the gift card. So if someone did get a hold of that, it wouldn't matter. Now, the other thing you can do is you could get you a gift card, Visa, MasterCard gift card, okay, or American Express. Now, those do charge to put some money on them. I've heard that Walmart kind of has a lowest price one. It's like $3, $5, $6 for some of these different ones. And you are protected the same as if it was a real credit card. And you can actually recharge them, is what they say. Add more money to it if you wanted to. Okay. So again, not connected to you. And if someone did get that hold of that number, then it would be very limited of what they could do. So how do we protect ourselves? Well, we need to check our statements often. Okay. Like I said, check the credit card number. Check the credit card, not credit card number, but check the credit card listing when we get our statement at the end of the month, or of course have the app on your phone and check it as much as you want. Here's some other tips, some certain websites here to kind of give you some other online safety tips, but that's really the main ones which we talked about. Now, another thing you can do is, let's say you're going to buy something from Amazon or whatever, you could download their app to your phone, not be connected to Wi-Fi, and that's even a more secure connection because you're using their app, the eBay app, or any of the other one, Etsy app, you name it. And if you use that, then that's a little bit more secure because it's their app. You just have to make sure it's up to date and all that. Okay, so we talked about that. Let's talk about knowing your rights online. In the United States, online purchases you make with a credit card are protected by the Fair Credit Billing Act, which limits your responsibility for fraudulent or erroneous charges to $50. So that means that if you did have an erroneous charge, the most a credit card could charge you personally would be $50. Now, I've never been charged that. I've only had a few credit fraudulent charges happening, but this actually gives you more information. This website here, this is from this website, and it's from the ftc.gov. I have some other links here that talk about more shopping safety by the FTC, privacy, identity, more tips, okay? And then it's keeping your safe online from staysafeonline.org as well. Okay, so we talked about that. Let me see. I feel like I'm forgetting something there. No, I already discussed everything. A little bit later, we'll look at the FTC.gov scam blog in just a second. So let's go ahead and let's talk about scams. So any questions about what I've covered so far? Okay, So let's go ahead and let's talk about scams. Now, the definition of a scam is a fraudulent or deceptive act or operation, usually for monetary gain. Okay, so the definition of that is to really kind of think about if something is odd that's going on. If you get some kind of text message, you get an email, someone calls you, even in person, someone at some point, there should be money involved that they're looking for. Okay, so do realize that a lot of that is their main goal, is to figure out exactly how to get money. Now let's talk about being aware. So, like Grandma said, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. That's right. And the other thing is, don't write down anything you don't want the world to read. Okay, so that's another thing as well. So here's one of the sites. I won't really call it a scam. I'll say I don't recommend it. It's actually a website called QuidBids. There's some other ones like this as well. And basically it is a pay to bid auction site. So basically the way this works is, and let's see, all they're doing is gift cards right now. So basically the way this works is you pay to bid. Okay, make that a little bigger. There we go. So you're actually paying to bid. Unlike sites like eBay, it has a set timer when it's going to expire. This doesn't. You'll actually see, as long as people are bidding, the more they get. Now the problem with this is it's penny auctions. It costs to bid. Okay, so it means that it could cost 25 to 50 cents on some of these sites, and if you don't win, then you don't get the item. Okay, so everybody else, whatever they pay to bid, that means they don't get the item and they're out the money. Okay, now if it's an actual product, it'll say something to the effect of, at least on this site it will, that you can, so let's say you're bidding on an iPad, and then it comes back and says that, okay, well, you're actually having to, and this is actually them bidding on bidding vouchers. Okay, so they're bidding to get bidding vouchers. So again, the bidding vouchers cost. So let's say you had 100 people in the room, you had one item, everybody's bidding on the item, and then one person wins the item, and they get it at a low price, but everybody else is out money at some point. Could be a big amount of money, could be a little bit amount of money, but if you're doing an auction on a whole bunch of these, you could be out $20 very quickly, etc., etc. So definitely be aware of sites like this. They'll promise really cheap items, but if you don't win something, then that means that you don't get the item, but you're out money. Okay, so a site like eBay, you bid, you put down the money, if you win the auction, you pay money. If you don't win, you don't pay anything. Okay, you're not out of pocket anything. You go, oh well, I'm sure there'll be a similar item, and I'll just have to see when another one's coming up. Beware of high shipping rates. Okay, what do I mean by that? Sometimes this will happen on eBay. Other sites, all of a sudden you'll see where it says that it seems like the price of the shipping is quite high. Maybe the item's price is really low. Now, I did actually have this happen to me on eBay. It was basically a cord for a laptop, and I purchased the item. The actual item purchase was really low, but the shipping was kind of high, but it still seemed to be cheaper than some of the other ones that were available, or buying it from like a main store or something. So I actually got the item. Now, I bought many things since then on eBay and had good, no issues at all. So this is just kind of a once in a blue moon. Got the cord. The cord did not work. I even tested the cord with an ohm meter. It did not work as a physical cord. It did not carry a current. Contacted the seller. Seller says, that's fine. You can ship it back to us. We don't pay for shipping back to us. And I'll refund the money, but we do not refund shipping. So basically, it was going to cost me more to ship the item back than it was to basically kind of cut my losses and say, okay, well, I guess they got me that time. So definitely keep an eye out for high shipping rates because that could, turn into the fact of, oh, well, we'll ship it back to us, but it costs more and we don't include shipping when you ship something back, okay? So just realize that. Be aware of fake IRS or missed jury duty calls. So if someone contacts you and says something to the effect of, we're the IRS, may even be more than one person there, and said, oh, can I talk to your supervisor? Sure, here they are. And they're looking for information. They also want you to pay like some kind of back taxes they'll say you owe, and they'll say you can pay it over the credit card over the phone. The IRS will never do that. They won't contact you that way. Now, what about the missing jury duty? Well, the missing jury duty, and we've had that here in Columbia County. One of the things about that is they're fishing for information. They may not ask you for any kind of credit card information, but they're actually going to probably ask you a whole bunch of stuff. Say, hey, you missed jury duty this morning. I said, I did. Yeah, you sure did, and you're going to be in trouble. But I'll see what, and you go, oh, well, I couldn't, I didn't know about it, or I had a dentist appointment that I didn't know about, or, okay, well, I'll see if I can talk to the judge now. What's your name? What's your full address? What's your social security number? They're fishing for information, okay? So definitely be aware of phone calls like that. Now, let's talk about free computer repair. So if someone contacts you, says they're from Microsoft, Gateway, Dell, HP, different service, computer companies out there, say, we found out that there's something wrong with your computer and we're calling to do technical help for free. Go to this website and give us access to your computer. You don't have to install anything. You just got to go to a certain website and say yes, yes, yes a few times, and then we'll fix your computer. Well, that's someone trying to take over your computer. They could be wanting to put malware on your computer. They could be wanting to scan your hard drive to see if you have any kind of information on there that they can use. Maybe you've saved credit card information somewhere. You shouldn't do that. Information that's on there on the computer somewhere. But will Microsoft and the rest of them call you? No. If you need technical support with your computer and it's still under warranty, then of course you call in the number that's on the box. Call in, ask them for help. They'll help you that way. There are some of them that do the computer repair over the phone, and a lot of them, if it's something worse, then they want you to ship the computer back to them. Okay, and they'll send you a nice box to ship the computer to them. So that's really not an issue. If someone calling you, they're not going to call you, especially Microsoft. They don't do that. There's one other thing. I'll think about it in a second, I'm sure. Gives access to computer. Installing stuff. Also make sure that when you're using your card, like at a gas pump or something, make sure there's not something that's like a swiper there. We actually had a few that were happening here in the CSRA. People putting swipers on top of the credit card scanners at certain places. We even had one that put it on at a bank, and then at a different time we had another one that put a scanner actually inside the gas station while people were checking out. So definitely be aware of that. If you go up to one of the machines, one of the things, that's why they're really pushing us to use the chip, because the chip can't really be copied as easily as the swiping a card. Okay, so that's kind of why we're moving to that. So there's something else I was going to mention, but I'll think about it in a minute, I'm sure. Yeah, so here's a big one here. Let's go ahead and let's look at, as we talk about scams here, avoiding scams. All right, so let's read over this site just for a second here. I'm going to check one thing. Okay, so this is the Federal Trade Commission.gov website. This is their scam blog. The interesting part about this is if you are having some kind of someone trying to contact you in some way, this is a great place to go. You'll see that it's actually broken down with the topics here. On the right side, you've won, pay now is always a scam. There you go right there. So if it says something to the effect of you have won some kind of lottery, but you need to go ahead and pay for the taxes. So we know that that's a scam. Something about the stimulus package scams. Another imposter scam, customer service. So who's that now? Oh, that's what I was going to say. If you have any questions about your credit card, debit card, or anything like that, basically flip your card over and there'll be a phone number there that you can call to have them, so you can call them. You don't have to have any kind of outside source tell you where to go. Just look at the back of your credit card, your debit card, call them. Also, our banks seem like really big companies, but do realize even while we're staying safe and everything, the drive-through, you can always ask a question, and they'll send you, if it's something they can't answer in the drive-through, then they'll send you to the right person or have the right person contact you. Okay, so, or of course you could call into the like I said, the back of the debit card and ask questions there too. So something strange, somebody called you, something strange happened. Now the interesting thing is, before class started yesterday, and that was another thing I was going to mention, I actually got a text message, and it was a phishing scam, which we'll talk about phishing scams in a minute. But basically it said that my Amazon account had been locked, and I needed to click there to re-put in the banking information. Now, isn't that interesting? So it was a scam. Of course, I didn't click on it. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I got that an hour before class yesterday, and the text looked a little different. It was like in italicized or something, so it was kind of strange to look at. There you go. All kinds of great stuff here. Never wire money to anybody. And let's say you hear about Aunt Lucille or somebody, all of a sudden is sending someone money using gift cards, or they're sending someone money every month or something. I'd investigate that just for their own safety, because everybody can be scammed. Okay. So lots of great information on here. Impersonating FTC as well. Steer clear of work from home scams. So talks a whole lot about its stuff. IRS won't call about stimulus money. And you can just keep on going here. Lots of stuff, information. So they keep it pretty, as you see, they keep it pretty updated when they hear about things going on. Also, you can get email updates if you want to. It's ftc.gov. On a side note here, if you do go to, see if I can get that to open. If you go to their main page, consumer.ftc.gov, or just, if it's just ftc.gov, you'll see here, this is also where you can get a free credit report. Remember, this is a .gov site, so it's a U.S. government only site. You can also add your number to the do not call list for what that's worth, because legitimate companies probably would not bug us as much. Okay, and this is also where you can file a consumer complaint against the company as well, and a whole bunch of other resources too. But that's ftc.gov. Okay, so we talked about that. We also talk about checking the reputable online stores, sellers. You can go to bbb.org. BBC, that's funny. bbb.org for more information on that. Another one is, let's say maybe they're a small business. Maybe they are selling something unique. That's why a lot of folks are kind of starting to sell stuff more on Etsy, because it's kind of like a buy it now eBay for homemade stuff, but there's a whole lot of other stuff on there as well. But if it's maybe a small company, you're trying to sell something, one thing you could do is you could try to contact them. Usually those sellers do have 1-800 numbers on their websites to call if you have any questions. If they're really in business, they'd much rather you call that number and ask some questions to them. There was one time that it was two parts of something. I wasn't sure if it was going to fit together. So I just called the company and I said, I'm looking into this product and this over here too. And I just can't, I'm not sure if it's going to fit together, if the clamp's the right size. The person looked at it and said, yep, those should work. Those should work together, no problem. I said, okay, well, I want to go ahead and buy that. He said, well, we're just basically a helpline. Call us, we help, we answer questions, but we don't do credit cards over the phone, and we don't deal with money in any way. We're just a helpline. So go ahead back to the website and just make your purchase, that way. And I said, okay, well, thank you. So it was great. It was just a helpline. And the other thing is, if it is a small website, maybe you're just going to be donating something, not donating, but actually buying something kind of small. Look for the PayPal payment, and also look for Google checkout payment as well. Instead of just a general payment, you can actually get some more options. The good thing about the PayPal and the Google checkout, of course, is that if you use those services, they're not actually giving the credit card number to anybody. You're giving your credit card to PayPal, giving it to Google checkout, and then they give those sellers the money for it. Okay, so it's just one more step between you and even making just I won't say random, but just making a purchase on a website of something you're interested in, keeping yourself extra safe using PayPal or Google checkout. Okay, well-known checkout services. Try to give out as little information as possible. A reputable online retailer will never ask you for your social security number. Why would they do that? There's no reason to. Not sure, like I just said, contact the seller and ask questions. Ask as much as you try to avoid it. You might find yourself the victim of a scam. If this happens, report the scam to the Federal Trade Commission, ftc.org. So you could actually go to their website and then alert them of basically a scam going on, or even just improper products, I'll say that. To go beyond that, you might also report it with the Internet Crime Complaint Center, which is ic3.gov, okay, which takes reports on all kinds of scams. This will help other people as well. So do you have some power, to kind of complain and stuff? Absolutely you do. There you go. Find a complaint with the I3. And again, this is a .gov site, so it's a U.S. government site talking about fraud alerts. Oh, hang on. I had the wrong window open for a second. It blew my mind. It was like, why is that like that? But anyway, so file a complaint. If it's something, third-party complaints, fraud alert, consumer alerts, that if you're interested in that, they have some of those as well. Okay. And that's the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center. All right, so let's talk about email texting safety. Okay. All right, let's talk about phishing scams. What exactly is a phishing scam? So the text I received yesterday, basically saying that, now didn't know I had an Amazon account. No. Do most people probably have that buy stuff off the internet pretty regularly probably have an Amazon account? Yeah, probably. You know, it's one of those free things. I used to get a lot of stuff from like Bank of America saying, we forgot your password, Bank of America. And my bank isn't Bank of America. So they're phishing, they're guessing, they're sending out emails, they're sending out text messages, they're just trying to see what they can do to get somebody to accidentally tap it. Now, if I had actually tapped the text that I had gotten yesterday, the link that came with it, it actually was the address was actually in a different country, but I knew that by looking at it, but not everybody may realize that. And of course, it had a bunch of numbers and letters at the end, so I'm not sure where it was sending me. If I had tapped that, where would it have gone? It probably would have gone to a fake Amazon site and said username, password, login, and it was capturing my username and password. It wasn't, of course, letting me into Amazon. So just be aware of that. Tapping on anything that comes through the phone, any kind of links, tapping anything that you get through Messenger, Facebook. Friends of ours' accounts will be hacked. I received one, the one that was really big going around, and basically I wouldn't say I fell for it, but it interested me, of course, got my attention. It was one where a friend sends you a message that said, I did not think this of you. And it's a link. And you go, well, what does this mean? And if you actually tap that, it makes it look like it's taking you to Facebook to log in to see it. But it's just a phishing scam to try to get everybody's username and password to Facebook. So do realize that. Now, what can we do if that does happen? If someone does get a hold of our email, someone does get a hold of like Facebook in some way. One of the things that they're interested in is basically spreading more links. So they basically start using that. Usually they don't go in and start deleting emails. It is possible they could start reading emails. So do realize that you shouldn't send bank information, credit card information, anything like that over or an email, or even save it to your own email. So yeah, so basically you go in and change your password and then it's over. Now, what kind of emails should we be looking out for? Okay, a phishing scam is a scam by which an internet user is duped as by a deceptive email message or phone call into revealing personal or confidential information which the scammer can use illegally for financial gain. Okay, going back to the money. Now, can a business be scammed? Yes, a business can be scammed. Let's say you have a small business where maybe you make soaps and sell them, or make bread and sell it, or something like that, or or something. And you have a website, so all of a sudden you start getting phone calls, and someone says, "Hey, I'm interested in your product. Do you take credit cards?" Is a big one they'll randomly send, and then basically they say, "Okay, well, I'm going to sign up and give you my credit card. Can you overcharge the credit card and let's say, a few $100s, and then send me that, wire transfer it to me, or can you send me a check with that money, the overcharge? I really appreciate it. I need your help." And there's always some excuse involved. And you go, well, how is this a scam? Because I'm going to get paid and it's going to be on their credit card. Well, come to find out, it's not their credit card. It's actually a stolen credit card that you would actually be a part of a stolen credit card ring to basically get money. So eventually you would not get any money, of course, and you would be in trouble. So don't want you to do that. So just be aware businesses can be scammed too, even though it looks like you're being paid and then someone else is being paid as well. So sometimes when we hear about a scam for the first time, we have to do our due diligence, look up, check, search the internet, check the scam, post to see what exactly is that. So your bank will not email you and asking for information in any way. What exactly is you will not win anything by sending an email to 20 of your friends. Okay. Beware of the check scams. What is the check scam? The check scam is by whatever means that they say or do or anything. They want to send you a check in the mail, and it's basically out of the country, check from out of the country. And they send you the check, and it's similar to what I mentioned a second ago. Let's say it's $1,000 and they say, hey, you can keep $200 of it. I really need your help. I don't have a bank in the U.S., whatever they say. And then they send you a check, $1,000 on it. You go to your bank, you cash the check, you got $200. You take $800 and send it to them, MoneyGram or something like that. And you go, oh, I helped somebody else out today, and I got $200 in their pocket. Well, when the check actually goes back through the system, do you realize that it would then bounce? Okay, because it's a fraudulent check. It may be from a real bank, but the account is either invalid or there's no money in that account, and then you would basically owe your bank that money. Okay, so do realize that. Let's talk about some nevers. Never respond unsolicited spam email. Don't say stop emailing me or anything like that. If you hit it, it may tell them that, oh, this is an active email account, and to go ahead and send more stuff. Okay. Never pay anybody with gift cards. So if whatever it is, at some point, if they say, okay, well, that's great. Well, go to Walmart or whatever and get some gift cards to Amazon or Walmart or eBay or something like that. And it needs to be small gift cards, especially. They say, oh, get some $10 gift cards, scratch off the number, and then, email it or text it to me. If that's what's going on, some weird kind of scams going on or some kind of illegal activity. Okay. Real businesses will never want you to pay them with gift cards. Okay. Never send your personal information, credit card number, passwords over an email. Okay. Because if someone did get into your email account, then they would have it. Spammers can fake the format of Yahoo and other trusted sites. Will never ask you to send your password or credit card information by email. Okay. Businesses won't do that. Never follow a spam email's instructions to reply with the word remove or unsubscribe. Okay. Again, if you do that, if it's a legitimate newsletter that you signed up for, there was a grocery store that I'd never been to before, and I heard really good things about it. Went to it just once, and I did plan on going back to it. So I went back to it after that as well. But when I went to it, they had the deal where it's a club you have to sign up for. And I signed up for the club, and for whatever reason, I realized I started getting emails daily, and then once or twice a week I'd get 2 a day of just coupons and stuff, let me know what kind of sales they had, which was great, but that seemed way too much. Now, this was, instead of putting it in my trash bin or whatever, or listing it as spam, and they would probably still be sending me the emails, I decided, okay, well, I'll go in here. I am interested in these coupons. It's just too many of them. I clicked unsubscribe, and it said, hey, would you like to change your subscription settings? And I said, okay. Went there. I had actually, unbeknownst to me, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was the person there that did this or it was just automatic. But my notifications is what they call it. Notifications email was basically set up to send me a coupon every day. Their daily coupon newsletter, and I was signed up for their weekly coupon newsletter and their monthly coupon newsletter as well. So I was getting everything that they possibly could send out. So I wouldn't have known that if I just hit it and I just said, okay, well, send me one, once a week. I'll take a look at it, but once a day is too much. So do you realize if it's one that you haven't subscribed to, you clicking unsubscribe? If it's one that you know that you didn't subscribe to, you could be again alerting them that it's an active email and start to send you more email. Okay. All right. So never click on a URL or website list within a spam email. Okay. It may look like it's going to some place that you know of, but do realize it can be masked. So it looks like it's taking you somewhere where it's not. Okay. Looks like it's, yeah. A lot of the times with our computers, we can take our mouse and hover over that. It'll let us know what it is. With our browsers, do realize it's a little more tricky if you're using a touch device like a cell phone, a tablet, a smartphone or a tablet. So realize you may not have that option. So just be aware of what you tap. Some businesses have a general rule for all their employees is to never click on a link in an email. Okay, so do realize that as well. Never sign up for a site that promises to remove your name from a spam list. That doesn't actually exist. Or maybe a big thing is to make sure you're not getting scammed from someone pretending to be someone else. Only communicate with the people you know. Okay. All right, so let's talk about what a VPN is. Okay. Now, this could get very techno jargony, but I don't want to do that. I have some links at the bottom, so if you did want to get more into techno jargon, I have that listed on there. Basically, I'm going to just kind of give a general overview what a VPN is, and then we'll go into basically why would someone need one. Okay. So let's go down to kind of our general user, and let's talk about when we connect to the internet, what happens. Okay. So basically, here's our user here. Okay. They're surfing a website that's not HTTPS. Okay. They're just surfing the website. They connect to the internet. Okay. This could be a Wi-Fi, a hub somewhere. This could be at a hotel. This could be, at a McDonald's. It could be at a Starbucks. It could be at a library even. It could be just wherever there's a Wi-Fi that's open. Now, of course, this could be at their own home, but for security, we're going to pretend that they're away from their home. When if it's at your house and it's just your internet service provider, you're completely safe as long as no one knows what your password is to get onto your network. Okay, so I won't say no worries about the internet at home, but just kind of realize that it's not really an issue. So connecting up to a website, getting there, and then we get to the internet. So basically, when we connect up first to the internet, we're actually given an ISP address number. Okay. Here's kind of an example one. This is one way our internet requests can be tracked back to our internet service provider and our computer. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about this two ways. I'm going to talk about it as security, and I'll also be talking about if you're a business person trying to do certain travel and you want to protect your connection. Okay. So here we are connecting this way. Now the other side of it too is that if you did go out and do something that you're not supposed to on the internet service provider tracks who used what ISPN number at the time, and they could track it back to you, or at least to that Wi-Fi connection. Okay. So let's talk about what a VPN does. Well, a VPN can mask our ISP address and encrypts it between sites that we surf. So if we go back up here, let's talk about this. So here's our user here. Let's talk about our user being a business traveler. So the business traveler, the company, and this will happen a lot with companies in general, if they say here's a laptop, here's a cell phone or something, this software may already be installed on the devices and will automatically turn on when anytime your device tries to connect to the internet. Okay, so for business travelers, this gives them an extra level of security in general. So if they're using Wi-Fi hotspots that they don't know, like motels, Starbucks, coffee shops, all kinds of good stuff like that. So basically, we're at our website here. We're surfing a non-HTTPS website. Our VPN software turns on. It encrypts the information that goes back and forth. It goes through the internet, and then it talks to the VPN server or the computer, of course, someplace else. So basically, let's say this is in Atlanta. Okay, so this server is in Atlanta. There's a lot in different big cities all around the world. Depends on which service that you subscribe to. So your VPN connects through your internet service provider, connects to the VPN server, and that's all encrypted. And then the VPN server requests websites. It comes back to the VPN, it encrypts it, and then gives it to the software, and then you see it. So basically, anything that's unencrypted is now completely encrypted. Okay? So any kind of tracking, going back and forth, especially using like going international travel or something, this will also get you past if any countries have a bit of a firewall built up, certain websites you can't go to. There are some countries that block Facebook, some countries that block maybe even some business sites that business traveler would need. But this would actually allow you to get through that, because all the internet service provider knows is that you're getting traffic back and forth from this IP, and it's all encrypted, or VPN, and it's all encrypted. Okay, so it requests stuff, comes back. The VPN, does the VPN remember what you do? Generally speaking, no, the VPNs do not remember what you do, what websites you go to, or what you're doing. So could this be related into maybe someone wanting to do something bad on the internet? Yes, but it also relates into the business traveler wanting to make sure that their connection is completely 100% encrypted. Okay, now again, if we go back down here and we go to our normal user and they're using HTTPS with their websites, then it's encrypted between them and this website that's over here. Now the tracking of the ISP number, of course, can happen, but they're using a secure connection between them and the website by using HTTPS. Now let's talk about the VPN and everything. So is a VPN for everyone? No, most users that use their home Wi-Fi, use their smartphone to do basic tasks like email, or when connecting to important sites, make sure that they use HTTPS, may never need a VPN. So if I was going on a business trip, and even the hotel having free Wi-Fi, if I wanted to make sure my connection was 100% secure for whatever reason, I could turn on the hotspot on my cell phone, or just use my cell phone, don't connect to the Wi-Fi, to check my email with the apps on the phone. Okay, so what does a VPN cost? Well, most do have a monthly fee attached. A few are free. Windscribe is one of those that's free, but it has a limited amount of data that you can use a month. Okay, what are the best VPNs? This is CNET's article about that from last year. I'm sure they probably have a updated version of that as well. Yeah, so there you go. So it has that too. So I guess they have updated it, and it just kind of talks about the different VPNs, what their services are. Do you realize that Norton is actually starting to not that one, that's not Norton, that's Nord, but there it is. So Norton does a little bit differently. It's mainly focused on A person that is a business traveler, there's certain things it does not block for someone that wanted to do something, let's say bad activity or something. But mostly it focuses on websites and emails. Okay. So there is I guess you say, a company that you've heard of doing VPN, but a lot of the time they are now including that with their total security, software platform kind of stuff. Okay. So peer to peer, it does not cover that, or BitTorrent stuff. Okay. So any questions about that? And I'll give anybody kind of like a little bit of a second there to see if y'all have any questions. The article will go a little bit more into what a VPN is as well. But it's a big question I get asked, and it's not something that just makes it real, quick, easy answer. So I hope my little graphic was helpful. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's talk about our next section here. Let's talk about cyberbullying. So with our little graphic we have here, here's a young lady. So basically she's just at home doing her homework. And now we can't really read exactly what's on there, but let's just say that she's receiving some ugly messages through social media, through texting, all kinds of stuff. So this could be that you have a friend or family member that basically is, you're unaware is being bullied. And, just think, oh, well, they're sitting over there doing their homework or whatever, and they're reading messages that could be hurtful or could be ugly, just sitting in the corner of the house, You don't have to go anywhere to be bullied. How about that? So let's talk about what cyberbullying, what's the definition: the use of electronic communication to bully a person, typically by sending messages of intimidation or threatening nature. Many may be reluctant to admit to being the victim of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying has no age range on it. We kind of focus on the younger folks getting cyberbullied in that, and I think all of us can relate to being bullied at some point for some reason. 59% of kids have experienced cyberbullying at least once, but only 10% of kids ask their parents for help. Okay, and that's from the No Cyberbullying on Social Media website. If someone is being bullied through a social media, most sites have a way to block or move offensive material. I do know that Facebook, a lot of these will have protections. Do you realize some of these, the social media, especially something like Snapchat, they may feel very free to do or say whatever they want because they can actually send a message and make it disappear after a few seconds. Do you realize this information is still kept on the servers at Snapchat? So if there's anything illegal activity going on, but they think it's another step of someone taking a picture of the screen, they'll be alerted. But do realize anything can be captured that comes on any kind of screen. And of course, you could always pull out another camera, use another phone to take a picture of that screen, and then the person never knows, because the screen capture thing doesn't always work alerting you. But just realize anything on a screen can be taken a picture of and saved later. All right. Again, one of those things of don't write down anything that you don't want the world to read. Okay. Did Grandma say that? I think Grandma might have said that at some point. So yes, emails, text messages, media posts, all kinds of stuff. If someone's being bullied through social media, I just read that. There's also a great website, stopbullying.gov. It talks about prevention of online bullying. just realize a lot of them, they do think that they can say or do whatever they want. Some of these apps, even asking them, how are you feeling today, will pop up and they'll share that. So instead of thinking about what they're saying, they may just go ahead and just say it. Okay, so lots of information here. This is stopbullying.gov. Remember, this is a U.S. government site to try to prevent this. Okay. Digital media and apps allow children to communicate and express their creativity, connect with peers, and share their feelings. However, they can be an avenue through which cyberbullying occurs. There are many types of apps and sites available for free that give users the ability to search for people and share or post information about them anonymously, or at least they think it's anonymously. Social media has many benefits that must be balanced with the risks it presents. Risks to be aware include screening for harmful content on websites and apps varies widely. Content posted can be incorrect, harmful, or hurtful. Why are you so dumb? Just things like that. Can be used to share harmful or adult content. Privacy controls over who can view or access posted materials vary across different apps, and many users are not aware of how to use them effectively. Apps that allow for real-time user videos, live streaming, can be used to show bullying, violence, suicide, and harmful acts as they are happening. Okay, so be aware. Some apps that include location information can be used to get personal information such as someone's age, current location, or where someone lives. So they may be using a social media app which shares their GPS location. Apps that support telephone calls do not show up on a call log, so parents may not know who their children are talking to. Okay, it may just look like a phone call, but it's actually a social media call, so you may not know who it is. So got another website that had a lot of the information on here, and even one that talks about social media and bullying while someone's playing an online game as well. Okay, so we'll pause for that a second. Any other questions about bullying in general? Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's move on to our next part. Let's talk about malware, viruses, adware, and spyware. And right here we've got our Mr. Zombie computer. Zombie computer. So what exactly is malware? Malware is an abbreviation for the term malicious software, which is specifically designed to gain access or damage a computer without the knowledge of the owner. Okay, including spyware, keyloggers. So spyware is something that the idea is that you have software on your computer and it basically tracks what you're doing. Keylogger is a big one. It's trying to grab all the keystrokes that you put in. So if you did put in your credit card number, if you did put in your username and password, it'll be able to grab that and then send it someplace else. There's viruses, of course, that are destructive. There are worms that try to spread themselves to other computers, or any type of malicious code that infiltrates a computer. Today, much of malware is created for profit through forced advertising, meaning adware or advertisement software, stealing sensitive information with spyware, spreading email spam, zombie computers, or extorting money, ransomware. Someone says, the computer pops up, say, we have locked your computer, you can't access any of your files, or we're going to delete them if you don't send money to this online account. Okay. Also, we've had it in the news where a hospital has been fall victim to this. But do you realize a lot of those actually were stopped due to white hat hackers, meaning someone that is tech savvy and used their tech savviness to find out why that ransomware or the bad software was being used or how it was working, and then actually turned it off and figured out how to stop it. Okay. Computer virus is a type of malicious code or software program written to alter the way a computer operates and is designed to spread from one computer to another. Okay. Hence the term virus. A virus has the potential to cause unexpected or damaging effects, such as harming a system's software by corrupting or destroying data. I will tell you this, some folks will say my computer's acting slow today, maybe I have a virus. Probably not. You probably have some adware on your computer, or you just need to go in and clean up some stuff. Maybe you have a new program you've installed that you're not really using, and it's using a lot of the system resources in the background, and that's slowing your computer down. I've even had it where there was a couple where I worked on their computer, and they go, the internet's really slow and the computer's really slow, and I was like, yes, this computer is running slow. Come to find out, they had installed, they had a I said, do y'all use, I found this software that was running in the background, and it was a GPS map update software. So someone that had one of those small little devices, and I said, do you guys have one of these devices? And they said no, but my son about a year ago came and he updated his device before he went home, on our computer. I said, okay, well, apparently, and I looked at the settings, every time the computer started, the software would connect to the internet, download these really big files like 2-3 gigs to update its map software. So when someone plugged in the GPS device, it would update their maps. So every time they turn their computer on, it seemed slow, and then the internet seemed slow. And basically, I turned the software off, restarted the computer, and then it acted a lot better. Okay, so you may actually have some software in the background that's slowing down your computer, not a virus. And I think in a minute we'll talk about that too. A computer virus attack can produce a variety of symptoms. Here are some of them. Frequent pop-ups. Pop-up might encourage you to visit an unusual sites, or they might prod you to download antivirus or other software programs. If it pops up, especially saying, "Hey, bad virus app. We've discovered virus on this computer. We'll fix it for $29.95. Click here to download." Be careful with that. It could just be an advertisement, and it's going to install more junk. Okay. If all of a sudden your home page of your the web browser has changed, or you're unable to change it back to another web browser instance, it may be unable to reset it. Your web browser. You look at your email. Mass emails are being sent from your email account. A criminal may have taken control of your account to send emails in your name from another infected computer. How do you do that? Go in, change your password. Okay. So if you looked on there, it says sent, and all of a sudden you're seeing that hundreds of junk emails are being sent out from your email. Go in, change your password. They should not have access anymore. Frequent crashes. A virus can inflict major damage on your hard drive. This may cause your device to freeze or crash. May also prevent your device from coming back on. Okay. I've had it before where if I had one, turn the computer off, you think it's all clean, turn it back on, and it would basically had installed something, so anytime the computer restarted, it would reinstall itself. We'll talk about that, fighting that in just a second. Unusually slow performance, there you go. Unknown programs that start up when you turn your computer on. You may also become aware of unfamiliar programs when you start your computer, or you might notice it by checking your computer's list of active applications, doing the classic Control-Alt-Delete and seeing what software is running, And if there's one there that you don't recognize, it may be some kind of adware or something. Unusual activities like password changes. This can prevent you from logging into your computer. So how do we fight this stuff? So how do we fight malware? Okay. Big one is to run antivirus software and malware protection software. Keep Windows up to date. Windows should routinely check for updates for your computer and install them automatically, especially with Windows 10. Okay. I know that can be a little annoying. One thing you can do is allow your computer to go to sleep the night that it's supposed to do a scheduled update. You can look in the settings for that and let your computer go to sleep. If it's listed as an important computer resource, it will update and turn itself on, update, and then go back to sleep, and it won't have to deal with that. Okay. Download the latest browser version. Most of the time now, if we're using our browsers, when we first turn our browsers on, I know the 4 major ones do this. It'll check to see if there's a new version, and if it is, it'll say, hey, we need to download a new version, and it'll take care of itself usually. If you don't have an antivirus program, you can use the one that comes free, already installed in Windows 10. Okay, it's installed in Windows 8 as well. If not, well, those should be installed. One of the things that can happen if you don't want to use that, you can use ones like AVG or so. One of the things that, I was about to say that again, one of the things that can happen is basically buy a new computer, you'll get like McAfee, Norton, some kind of other antivirus for a year free, and then it pops up after that year's up and says, hey, you need to subscribe to our annual and pay this annual fee. And if you ignore that, just realize, let's say a year later, it actually has not been updating its virus definitions and malware definitions. So it's still scanning for the older ones. If you don't subscribe to those services, it's better to uninstall that software and let the Windows Defender take over, because at least it'll be getting the newer definitions. And like I said, it comes free with Windows. Other antivirus stuff, the Windows Defender, Security Essentials, Malware Bytes. I use the free version of this. It's recommended. The only thing about the free version is it will not run automatically. You have to run it periodically when you need to, but it is free, and it will look for PUP, potentially unwanted programs, where the antivirus software may not list that, meaning some adware antivirus programs will allow on the computer, and this is more likely to get rid of them. Okay, so do realize that this is recommended and trusted by a whole bunch of leaders. There's CNET, trusted by CNET, PC Magazine, a whole bunch of stuff. And if we go to our personal here, it'll talk about what it will do. Of course, there's a free version and a paid version as well, but I just use the free version. And well, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Here we go. And it kind of talks about it. So you'll get real-time protection if you do pay. If not, you have to just run it by hand. I recommend it basically once a month to run. And there you go right there. It'll usually find stuff that the other antivirus software may not find or list as bad. Other software that some of the antivirus may not realize is bad. Okay? Or annoying. I should say annoying. PUP, potentially unwanted programs, or PUPs. We want to get rid of those PUPs. Norton does have some stuff. A lot of our websites now a lot of our web browsers now actually have built-in lists of dangerous links, dangerous websites. Also, if you do a pop-up blocker, that can help out with that too, added to your list. And if you'll go to type in a website, click something, and it pops up, says, hey, we don't like this website, it's probably best not to go there. Okay. This also is a list of a way how to uninstall software for your computer, listed right here. What about uninstalling stuff that I didn't install? Well, it's probably best to do your research. Make sure that's not a system file or a system program that came with the computer. A lot of the time you can see the date on there, and if it's something that was installed, recently, let's say the past week, and your computer's been acting strange for the last week, that might be a part of it. If it's some software that runs every time your computer starts and you do want it, you can probably turn that feature off in the settings, and it'll only run when you want it to. The other thing is looking in there, uninstalling add-ons. You can do that separately in the different browsers as well. Okay, so any question about this, and we'll start wrapping up class here, talk about our passwords. Okay, let's go ahead and let's start talking about password help and tips. So, big one is do not use the same password for all your accounts. Ugh, that's bad. Don't do that. Make a strong password, and it's easy to remember. So strong passwords are easy to remember but hard to guess. I am smiley face 2B 29 exclamation point. And basically it's a sentence in your head. It says this has 10 characters and says I'm happy to be 29 exclamation point. I wish it says. It's okay to write down your passwords. Just keep them away from your computer and mixed in with other numbers and letters so it's not apparent that it's a password. Okay? So you could throw in some extra numbers, letters. So if someone does try that password, that will not give them access. But when you look at your notebook, you can go, okay, well, that Z, that A, that whatever it is, don't include that in the password. I remember that. And there you go right there. Have fun with known short codes. Okay, let's say sentences or phrases. Here's a classic, to be or not to be. There's number 2, letter B, a dash, OR dash, capital N, OT, underscore to be, question mark. So it kind of makes it fun. A long one, be hard to guess what it is. You can also write a tip sheet, maybe have it saved on your computer somewhere, which will give you a clue to remember your password, but doesn't actually contain your password on it. For example, the tip sheet, you might be the to be or not to be, but then they don't remember all that extra stuff that you have on there. Okay. Don't tell anyone your password. Your trusted friend now might be your friend. Your trusted friend now might be your friend. Oh, might not, excuse me. Your trusted friend now, that needs a comma, I think. Might not be your friend in the future. Okay. Keep your passwords safe by keeping them to yourself. Okay. Depending on the sensitivity of the information being protected, you should change your password periodically and avoid reusing a password for at least 1 year. Okay. Banks and credit cards a lot of times will make us change our passwords pretty regularly. Do use at least 8 characters of lowercase and uppercase letters. Remember numbers and symbols in your password. Remember, the more the merrier. And kind of finish up here, I'll show you the password generator and also give out some passwords you shouldn't use. Best to have at least 3 different passwords. Very secure for online banking. Moderate for email. Light for access, or maybe free, maybe like a coupon site or something. And of course, password manager is a good idea as well. Like LastPass, Norton makes one as well. And it'll keep it. So basically you have a master password you put in. Every time you start your browser, it'll give you access, and then it'll actually allow you to log into all the other websites as well. Okay, so this is the Norton website password generator. Let's look at some of the passwords it says not to use or weak passwords. Password manager or password generator, the solution to weak passwords. Do not use any of these weak passwords. Password. Don't let your password be password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. QWERTY or some kind of collaboration of what's exactly on the keyboard. Child's name. Don't be that person in the movie where the person gets to your computer, the spy, and goes, ooh, okay, so see, it's not the wife's name. Is it the dog's name? Because there's a picture of Rufus here on the desk. Rufus. Rufus 1, 2, 3. I'm in the computer. All right. So don't let it be that easy. Okay. And I always use the same password. Don't do that. Okay. Make it a password that's not easy to guess or crack. What's the solution? Well, you could use a password generator if you wanted to. Something like this. If that's too long, let's say we'll make it the 10 that's on here. Now it has some extra stuff on here. And remember, this is kind of just a suggestion. Once they tell you this, you could basically, change it a little bit if you wanted to, and then you should have a pretty secure password. So hopefully that was helpful. Now let's go ahead and let's finish up by kind of talking about an overview. Any questions about passwords? Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go back up to our top here and we'll kind of talk about what we've covered. So today we covered safe online connections using the HTTPS. Okay, we talked about knowing our rights online. We learned about if there is a fraudulent charge on a credit card, the most we should ever have to pay basically would be the $50. Okay. Most of the time that doesn't happen that way, but just let you know what your legal rights are. We also talked about scams. Being aware, don't give out too much information. Will certain companies call us, ask us stuff? No, that they want us to give them access to our computer. No, we're not going to do any of that stuff. Also remember scams. You hear about a new scam, tell friends or family members about it. Also be aware of friends or family members that might be being scammed. Right now we have a lot of college students going back to school and stuff, and they're looking for places to stay. So do you realize that any age group can be scammed? And they may start filling out a whole bunch of paperwork, and it just says, what's your social security number, and they may be passing out that information very freely to try to get a good deal on a place. So younger folks could get scammed, have identity theft, and stuff like that as well. What about email and texting safety? Well, we're not going to click on anything in an email that we get, and we're also going to be aware because we could get involved in a phishing scam, something that says, hey, something strange on your account, tap here to log in, or somebody sends us a message on Facebook, and it looks like we're at Facebook, but we're really not. So just be aware of that in general. We talked about what exactly a VPN is, and does everybody need one? No, not everybody needs one, as long as you're vigilant, making sure you have the HTTPS. There's actually add-ons that you can put on your browser that'll try to push the HTTPS on all your websites. So the different browsers has different ones. You may want to look into that. I think the one that I'm using is called HTTPS Everywhere. So do realize that some of those are available. Okay. Cyberbullying, we talked about that, listening to friends, family members, kind of trying to fill feedback, trying to give them good advice, and of course we found some great resources to help us out with that as well. Okay, and trying to be open with friends or family members, tell us about that. A lot of peer pressure going on. Remember, that can be with any age, And some folks may not be realize they're being bullied because they're being pressured into doing something they don't really want to. Malware, viruses, adware. We talked about ways to stop that. So how to stop malware. We talked about that. How to stop viruses and everything. Make sure we have an up-to-date virus protector, spyware, antivirus, malware. Scan our computer a lot. Our computer's acting strange. Maybe we need to see if there's software running in the background. It may not be malicious. Maybe it's advertisement or just something that we're not using. Maybe we installed once and used it, and now every time we start the computer, it actually is running in the background and taking up resources. We talked about different ways to do passwords, password generators, writing tip sheets to ourselves that don't include our passwords, but only if we read it. So we've kind of come to the end of our class. So any kind of final questions or anything? And I'll kind of give everybody just a minute to see if there's any questions. So any other questions? Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk about our classes that we have coming up this afternoon. So this afternoon at 2:30, we're going to be doing a fun class, our video editing, creating basics. And also tomorrow we'll actually have our new schedule for next month classes. We're getting that together. And so look for that. Of course, at the library, we're still keeping home and staying safe and everything. And I hope that you're staying safe as well. And tomorrow, we're going to have a morning and afternoon gadget help with Alex. That's me. That's me. So come join me for that. Share with friends or family members. Again, this is one of the big popular things that we do at the library. Bring in a laptop, bring in a cell phone or something. But since we're having no on-ground programs at the library, we're doing it virtually. So come join me for that. Post your questions in the chat, even a website link or something if you're saying you're having troubles with something. And then I can do some research and give some advice that way as well. Okay? Especially if it's computer-based, I can probably load it up and then actually walk you through being able to fix that issue. Or just kind of some general questions. Now, if we don't get many questions, I'll actually be talking about some of the resources that the library has for free, ebooks, all classes, online stuff, all kinds of great stuff. So do still join me for that, or maybe even watch in the repeat, because you never know what we're going to talk about, because it's kind of like an open discussion. Here's the rest of our classes for the rest of the month. Like I said, this afternoon we have the video creating basics class, and then tomorrow we have a morning and afternoon gadget help, and tomorrow is when our new schedule is going to come out for next month, and it's all virtual classes for now, and we'll be looking ahead to the future. Little side note, our libraries are open with limited services and hours. As of today, the hours have changed. So definitely check the websites for that. Curbside holds pickup is available. Definitely thank the librarians for doing that. It's a great service. You can go to gchrl.org for details, or also call into the library with questions Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Don't forget to like our Facebook page so you'll be kept up to date on information and new posts. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our videos, and also like my videos too. And if you are looking for our YouTube channel, having trouble finding it, all right, now we're on the YouTube channel. The easiest thing to do is to go to YouTube and search for GCHRL videos, and it'll pull right up. Okay, thank you for coming so much. I look forward to seeing you this afternoon in the video editing class. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay? We're going to work on about 3 different projects, and the interesting thing about it is we'll be adding some graphics and walking our way around that way. And also we'll tell you about some other, there's a new video editor too that's free. I haven't played around with it too much, but I'll kind of share with you some different projects I've been doing. So, thank you for coming. I'll see you later. Have a great, well, it's afternoon now. Have a great afternoon, or I'll see you at 2:30. Bye-bye for now. Thanks for coming. Bye.